Every day, over 10 million portions of Vache Qui Rit are unwrapped somewhere in the world. Found in more than 100 countries, these small foil-wrapped wedges are smooth, creamy, and irresistibly convenient. They've become one of the most widely consumed cheese products on the planet. But how are they made? What really happens behind the scenes in the factories that create them? Well, let's explore all that here in the process world. Now, at the start of the 20th century, cheese had one big problem. It did not travel well. Once exposed to heat, it softened unevenly, separated into oil and protein, and spoiled faster during transport. This made it difficult to supply cheese to soldiers in communities far from dairy farms, especially during World War I when food had to survive long journeys without refrigeration. Around this time, food engineers discovered that heating cheese together with emulsifying salts allowed fat and water to stay mixed instead of splitting apart. The melted cheese could then cool into a stable, solid form that remained smooth and lasted longer without further aging. A major turning point came in 1921 when a French businessman, Léon Bell, used this method to create Vache Qui Rit in Lons-le-Saunier, France. The brand soon introduced individually foil-wrapped triangular portions designed to keep each serving protected from air and moisture while making it easy to carry and store. A common storage problem had now turned into a new kind of dairy product that could move across borders without losing quality. So how did that early idea evolve into the factory process used to produce millions of wedges every day? We will break it down step by step. But before we get into that, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more amazing videos like this one. Now moving on. Inside the factory, Vache Qui Rit begins with real cheese that has already gone through the full aging process. These cheeses often include varieties like Emmental, Gouda, or Cheddar. Using matured cheese gives the final product its familiar dairy flavor from the very start. Different ages are selected carefully to balance taste and texture during processing. Alongside these cheeses, other dairy ingredients are added to build the right consistency. These include skimmed milk, butter, and milk proteins such as whey. In many cases, milk powder is brought in and mixed with water to recreate liquid milk under controlled conditions. This helps maintain a steady supply and allows factories to control moisture levels during production. Water also plays an important role in helping the mixture flow during heating. One of the most critical additions at this stage is emulsifying salts, usually made from phosphates or citrates. These food-grade salts are approved for dairy processing and are used to keep fat and water evenly mixed when heat is applied later on. Each ingredient is weighed and measured before being moved forward. This ensures that every batch starts with the same base. The factory now has a prepared blend of natural cheese and dairy inputs ready for processing. Now, before any heating takes place, the cheeses delivered to the factory go through a preparation stage that makes them ready for controlled melting. These cheeses usually arrive in large blocks from different dairy suppliers. The first step is trimming. Any outer rind or surface layer formed during aging is removed to ensure that only the inner cheese moves forward into production. The blocks are then cut down into smaller pieces and passed through industrial grinders. This breaks them into fine shreds or granules. Smaller particles melt more evenly once heat is applied, which helps prevent clumping during processing. At the same time, milk powder is blended with water in mixing tanks to recreate liquid milk under measured conditions. This allows the factory to maintain the same moisture content in every batch. Each ingredient is then weighed using automated batching systems. This step keeps the ratio between cheese, milk, butter, and water consistent from one production run to the next. Once the measurements are confirmed, everything is transferred into a base blend. During this stage, the factory has turned solid cheese blocks into a uniform mixture that is ready for thermal processing. This is where the biggest change in the entire production line begins. Inside these tanks, heat is gradually applied while the mixture is stirred using powerful mechanical paddles. As the temperature rises, the shredded cheese starts to melt into a thick dairy mass. At the same time, emulsifying salts are added into the heated mixture. These salts work directly on the casein proteins found in cheese. They adjust how these proteins hold fat and water together. When cheese melts without this step, the fat tends to separate and form an oily layer on the surface. Emulsifying salts help keep everything bonded into one smooth mixture during heating. The temperature inside the tank usually reaches between 70 and 85 degrees Celsius. This level of heat melts the cheese fully and also pasteurizes the blend by reducing microbial activity. The controlled mixing keeps the fat evenly spread throughout the liquid phase. After melting and emulsification, the cheese mixture still needs one more level of control before it can be shaped into wedges. At this stage, the hot emulsion is pushed through a high-pressure homogenizer. This machine forces the mixture through very narrow openings at controlled pressure levels. As the cheese passes through, fat globules and protein particles are broken down into much smaller sizes. This helps distribute them evenly throughout the mixture and improves consistency across the entire batch. Temperature and pressure are monitored closely during this step to maintain the smooth texture La Vache Qui Rit is known for. Once homogenization is complete, the cheese remains warm and flows easily through sealed pipelines into the portioning section of the production line. Automated dosing systems measure the exact amount needed for each wedge to keep every portion consistent in weight. The measured cheese is then injected into pre-formed triangular molds. As the molds move along the line, the filled portions begin to cool in a controlled environment. During cooling, the casein proteins inside the cheese start to set again, helping the emulsion stabilize into a firm yet spreadable texture. By the end of this stage, the mixture that once flowed as a thick paste now holds its final form as individual triangular portions, ready for packaging. Now, at this stage, each portion is handled individually to protect it from air and moisture. The wedges are placed onto a wrapping line where thin layers of aluminum foil are applied around each piece. During wrapping, a small red pull tab is added. This tab is attached as the foil is folded into place, allowing the cheese to stay sealed until it is opened by the consumer. The foil serves an important role in protecting the product. It limits exposure to oxygen, reduces moisture loss, and blocks light that could affect quality over time. Once wrapped, the wedges are grouped together using automated systems. These groups are arranged into the familiar circular boxes. The box keeps the individual portions secure during storage and transport. After assembly, the boxes are sealed with an outer strip to hold everything in place. Each box then goes through final quality checks to confirm proper weight, seal integrity, and product safety. Approved batches are labeled with tracking codes and transferred onto palletizing lines where they are stacked for storage. The finished products are then moved into temperature-controlled holding areas before shipment. From there, the boxes are loaded onto refrigerated trucks or shipping containers, depending on their destination. With production taking place across multiple factories worldwide, La Vache Qui Rit is distributed to more than 100 countries, allowing millions of individually sealed wedges to reach retailers and homes every single day. And that's it. So now that you know how real cheese is transformed into something this smooth and shelf-stable, what other everyday foods do you think go through a similar factory process without us ever realizing it? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. Leave a like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for more amazing videos like this one.